I am more interested to hear what you would like if you were making your own banh mi. Um, ooh, okay. Spice. Now the chicken's a little bit spicy, but not super spicy. I think my baguettes are going to be the wrong shape too. It's supposed to be like a lozenge shape. I think mine are going to be more long, but that's fine. But fresh, something fresh and spicy. Um, Maggie sauce. Oh, Maggie sauce. I've got that. Um, Interesting. The tradition, according to this, Maggie seasoning flavor is in fact a topping of choice, at least according to thekitchen.com. Okay, kitchen's spelled incorrectly. Um, okay. This one says use fresh cucumber, not pickled cucumber. So, oh well. I already pickled my cucumber. Fascinating. But Maggie seasoning, which I have here, which is just, oh, there's flour thumbprints. Oh, my oven clicked. That's what I was waiting for. I was just killing time for that. Okay, breads. Get ye in there. Set ye timer, ye oldie timer. Okay. Okay, now that they're in, I can relax a little bit because there's a timer running that'll inform me when they're ready to come out instead of me just waiting around. Okay, so crispy skins. Warmed chicken meat. Our extremely delicious but unfortunate looking chicken liver mousse. Kewpie mayonnaise. Our pickled vegetables. Which we have lots of. And according to that thing I just read, Maggi seasoning, the seasoning flavored seasoning, as an exterior sauce or as a finishing sauce. I was also thinking. I was thinking of making a sauce. We was thinking something spicy. That's right. It said we needed something spicy. None of these elements are terribly spicy. So, cutting board back. I have a couple of chili peppers, but they're not the freshest things in the world. But I think it's still good. It's gone a tiny bit wrinkly on us. This jalapeno was mostly green when I bought it, but it had a little tiny little streak of orange. And I always go for the ones that have a tiny little streak on them because they often will turn fully red or fully orange within a couple of days. And normally you pay extra for the red ones. Now this one's a little bit deflated because it's going wrinkly because I did let it sit around. But normally you're paying extra for the ones that have gone red because they pick them when they're green. So getting one that'll turn red on your own. I haven't worked out how much I would charge for these loaves if I was going to charge for them. It's not a small project. Like I started it last night. The first stage is extremely mindless, but then it's a couple hours of having to be around so that when it's time to do the next thing, you can do the next thing to it. So, I don't know. If I was doing them in large quantities, maybe, but I'm not sure. I'd have to work it out. $10 both seems high, but also seems low. Like $10 seems like it would be a lot for a loaf of bread, but it seems low for 3 hours work. So I don't know. Probably better if I don't sell them piecemeal, because then I'd be a baker. Then I'd open a bakery. Nobody wants that. Nobody. So slightly. Why are you beeping? What the hell? Wait. Why are you beeping? What? Okay, I've muted that. I don't understand why that started beeping. It's a countdown timer and it's got 18 minutes left on it and it started beeping. Google, are you okay? Google, are you having an aneurysm? I guess I have to keep the timer just open now because it's still counting down. Bizarre. Okay, I don't know what that was. I hope it's not still beeping on your end. Bizarre. What was I saying? Slightly deflated jalapenos. I'm gonna do something extra with them because I've got somewhere these guys. Sliced pickled jalapenos. So if we get out a little bowl, put our fresh ones in there. Seeds and all. Right, if I was doing them as a dedicated, today I'm baking, I could make lots of things. That's the issue. I'm not typically doing that. I'm doing other things. get out some of these pickled ones and give the whole thing the juice. Pickled jalapenos. It's got the juice. Then I'd be a bakery. Yeah. That is exactly how the bakery works. So I guess I'm kind of making a, because the pickled jalapenos are not very spicy. Ultimately, I think that could go in there. Let's make a topping sauce, though. So we will start with some of the Maggi. Which is, it's hard to describe the flavor. It's like pure savory. Oh, my finger is very spicy from touching that ripe red jalapeno. I've added some sesame oil. These are not going to emulsify. No, actually, they kind of are. Wow, they super are. It's Maggi sauce and emulsifier? It's made out of wheat. Ooh, that's good sauce. Holy crap. Wow. Whoa. Whoa. Ooh, boy. That's for 2 ingredients, that's got a lot going on. They ain't kidding about this stuff. Completely by itself, it's kind of hard to describe. It just tastes like purified savory. But you mix it with just a little bit of sesame oil, and it just jumps up at you. Dang. And it looks like it acts as an emulsifier too, because it's not separating the way I expected it to, which is good for making sauce. And I am going to add just a dash of vinegar to it. That's rice vinegar. That's the new bottle. Same thing we added to the other thing. But since we're not going to put all the juice from the pickled veggies on there, I would like... Wow, yeah, this is actually like... Huh, what is in this that causes it to be an emulsifier? Water, salt, wheat gluten, roasted wheat flour. Oh. Oh! Sugar, color, wheat bran, 3 different kinds of sodium. It's the roasted flour. It's like a pre-made mixture of it's like a roux. It's already filled with hydrated starch from the roasted wheat flour, which means it's doing exactly that. It's forming this sauce without any effort. I never knew that. That's amazing. They should advertise that on the bottle as a feature. It's probably a bug. It's probably an unintended side effect. But look at how smooth and perfect this sauce is. And all it's in there is oil, vinegar, and that Maggi sauce. And it's like thick. looking real tasty. I'm tempted to throw some more in there to thin it out. I'm tempted to throw other things in there since we've got a sauce base forming. So I've thrown in a little bit more sesame oil and some soy. I'm shook. I'm shooketh by this revelation. Taste it again. That's a good sauce. That is the easiest sauce I've ever made. It just falls together. Make a note. We're going to have to experiment with this in the future. Because I didn't add that much, and it's doing this. And it's really, like, thickened up. Huh. Huh. Well, that warrants future exploration. I guess I thought it was going to take longer to make a sauce. I didn't expect it to just instantly emulsify itself like that. We could keep adding to it, I think, at this point. The way it's behaving. But it tastes so good, I don't really want to add anything more to it. What else? Oh man, I've got my gears are turning, my wheels are spinning. No, my gears are turning. That's the right thing. I've never used the Maggi sauce quite like this, and I've never noticed that it does this, where it'll thicken up a sauce like that. Now I want to run trials and see how much of it you need, because it's successfully emulsified soy sauce, vinegar, and sesame oil into a smooth sauce. Obviously, it has its own strong, savory flavor, so you couldn't use it in places where you don't need that strong, savory element. But there's a lot of savory cooking out there, and the fact that it did this with no effort is amazing me. Are you as amazed as I am? Probably not. Probably no one else is amazed as I am. They're like, oh, ho hum, of course it does that. It's what it's always done. Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Oh, there's a moisten. Moist. Okay, well, with the sauce good and all these other ingredients ready to go, I don't really want to overload the sandwich with too much else. So I guess we're just waiting on the bread. Thankfully, baguettes don't need a ton of time to cool down. Am I throwing tomato on there? What do you think? Am I throwing tomato on there? I'm down here. I don't think so. We've got enough going on. I'll make a different sandwich with a tomato with one of the other ones, or probably half of one of the other ones. I'm going to use a whole one for today just for the spectacle, but they're still going to be large enough that I think half of them would make half of one of these would be a very substantial sandwich. Or other baguette goodies, you know, it's a very flexible piece of bread. I should taste the chickens as well, individually. I actually haven't tasted this one yet, so. Ooh, it's very smoky. Definitely not overcooked. And it's very different from the chickeny flavor of the skins. So I'm actually really glad I separated them like that, because they do taste distinctly different. The meat has a lot more of the smoke in it, whereas the skins taste more like fried chicken. That's real good. I can't take credit for the chicken. The flavoring is all the neighbor. He's still not home. We should have that timer pulled up so I can look at it. 4 minutes remain. Ugh. Dawn of the final day. 4 minutes remain. Somebody got that reference. And somebody didn't. Okay. Well, I don't have any fun facts ready to go. Fun fact. I don't have any fun facts right now. The weather forecast. I'll talk about the weather. The weather's always a good thing to fall back on. I started out talking about the weather. The weather forecast for tomorrow is for an all-time record high temperature. We're set to break the record high of 81 with a high of 83. The weather report for today's weather was flood warning, because the warm temperatures are so sudden and so extreme that all the snow melt to the north has overloaded many of the rivers in the area. Fortunately, I am quite high on the banks. I'm like 2 blocks away from a major river. But the banks are quite high, so we have not experienced any flooding around here. But I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't some around in lower lying areas of the river. Yesterday, when I went for my walk, I ended up on the bridge near the dam, and even yesterday they had all the spillways fully open. And the water on the far side was quite high. And the water on the near side was quite high because the spillways were all open. It's people like warm weather, but if it's too warm too fast, it causes many troubles. So I have not opted to go. It's spring and the birds are on the move, so I want to go out and look for birds, but I've opted not to go to some of the hotter spots because I expect they are going to be flooded at the moment and either difficult to access or not good for the birds that normally I find there on account of the water being too high for them. My sauce has in fact started to separate a little bit, and it's less thick. I wonder if the acid from the vinegar has done that, or if it's a natural behavior. Anyways, it's much juicier now, but it still pulls back together when I whisk it. I'm suspecting that the vinegar probably has disrupted the thickening of the sauce, and I shouldn't have pushed it quite so hard in my excitement. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop the timer, close the timer. It doesn't beep because I had to mute the tab because it was beeping 20 minutes ago. Let's check on those breads. Let's peek at them first. I kind of think they need a couple more minutes. I may have cut them slightly too deeply as well. The cuts on the surface don't look like they've quite opened up all the way. I may have sliced a little bit too deeply. What was I saying? Birds. Yeah. So I like to, because this time of year with the snow melt and the ice retreating and all the waterways opening up, water birds are moving through. All your ducks are moving through pretty quickly. They're following the melting snow. So now's the time to get out. But if there's flooding, the ducks will love it, but it'll make it hard to get to them. It'll make it hard to access them because they'll be in the most flooded areas. And we're a little bit early for a lot of the wading birds that are going to come more for small invertebrates, which we haven't had enough time for them to get moving. And it's going to get cold again now, so it's gonna knock them back. So hopefully I can get out and get some stuff. But this sudden, abrupt, warm weather is not actually ideal. It's causing a disruption. Whatever could be the cause of this unseasonably warm weather. I guess we'll never know, and there's nothing we could ever do about it. Certainly was not predicted by any scientists. Oh well. They should get back to figuring out how magnets work. Ugh. So we're giving the bread just a couple more minutes because it was a little bit pale on the top still when I peeked at it. I didn't show it to you because I didn't want to take it fully out and start the cooling process prematurely. It looked a little bit pale on the top to me. So we're leaving it a bit longer. I'm wondering if using flour for the last step instead of oil has caused the tops to not brown up because the oil contributes to the browning. Because the other ones, when they went in, they had this thin sheen of oil on the surface because the nonstick surface I used on the board was oil. This time what I used was flour. That might be it. That might actually have done it. And in that case, I should have given them an oil wash at the end. I didn't consider that when I was doing it. I didn't consider that when I was actually doing it. But now that I think back, that makes a lot of sense. So they might end up being a little bit pale. They should taste the same. But they might end up being a little bit pale on top. In that case, in that case, I'm not sure how long I want to leave them because they aren't going to have the same appearance. Let's move you guys. Yeah, they'll still be crusty, but they won't have that dark brown color on the top. Okay, well, that being the case, I guess I will pop back over here and pull them, and we'll take a look at them, judge them together. Ooh, there's the cloud of steam. There they are. They are definitely a little bit pale. They're quite hard on the outside. So I guess I'm going to call them ready. I'm going to call them good enough. We do want to get them off of that pan so they can start cooling immediately. So, oh, my tongs are, I'll use these tongs. So they're too hot to handle with my hands now. I could wait for them to cool until I could get them off with my hands, but I would like them to cool a little bit more quickly. That's them. What do you think? They're a little bit paler. And they're obviously short because I made short ones this time. Let's go. I'm going to leave you guys with this scene because there's more stuff to look at, although you've been looking at it for minutes and minutes now. We're going to go grab some pictures. That'll help give us a little bit of time to cool off. Because they are blazing hot. Blazing hot. Fortunately, baguettes are narrow enough that they cool off quickly enough to use in pretty short order. Unlike, say, a full-sized loaf that can take quite a long time to cool down. I definitely think that I cut the slashes on the top too deeply on all of them. They look okay, but I think they may have impacted the overall development of the bread. I need to remember to open my tablet before starting the show so that it can get all these notifications out of the way before I go to take pictures. Because then it starts racking up notifications and it makes it vibrate, and then the pictures come out blurry. So here they are. They smell good. They smell perfect. They smell just like bread. I'm going to set them to the side. You can't quite see them, or in fact, you can't see them at all. They're just past the edge of the pickled vegetables here. Oh, there's an ad coming up. They'll probably be cooled in time to at least attempt to use one of them by the end of that ad. And then I can do assembly and tasting. So I guess that's the target now, which means I've got 2 minutes to 5 minutes-ish to kill. So a little bit more chit chat, a little bit more chit chat before we dive in on this. I'm going to squeeze out some of our pickled vegetables into a bowl. And by squeeze out, I mean literally. I'm going to take a handful of them. Squeeze most of the liquid out. Put them in this bowl. So that when they go on the sandwich, they don't just flood it with pickle juice, with our brine. Our brine that's not a brine because it has no, well, I mean, it's a brine. There's no salt in the brine, if you noticed that. I did when I was making it. It was sugar and vinegar. It was a sweet pickle. I kind of want to taste them. They've gone floppy, so the pickle part has worked. They're still crunchy. Crunchy and tangy. Very tangy. Making the corners of my mouth pinch and salivate. That's exactly what you want on a banh mi. A tangy, crunchy vegetable. Sharp acidity to counter off these sort of richer flavors. Which is how all sandwiches are balanced. That's why you have pickles and ketchup and mustard. Those are all acidic ingredients that balance out the fatty meats. You put them on burgers, you put them on hot dogs, you put them on all that type of thing. Or you have it served on the side. You get a sandwich with a pickle spear next to it. The pickle spear is there to balance out the richness of the meat. If I had any seam unrolls. The seams unrolled a tiny bit. They're already cool enough to handle. They're still definitely hot in the middle. So we had a little bit of a seam opening up there, but not really badly. It's actually a little bit soft on the sides. It's crusty on the top, and a little bit soft on the sides. That's interesting. This one's crusty all the way around. This one's also a little bit soft on the sides. I wonder if I took them out too early. I wonder if I jumped the gun taking them out. I guess we'll find out. I had this timer for 24 minutes, which was the low end of the original recipe's time. And then we let them sit in there for a couple minutes longer because I didn't feel like they were quite done. I'm just waiting for this ad to wrap up before I jump in on one of these baguettes and start assembling our sandwich. That's the next step. Because that's the next step. We should get a plate ready to receive it as well. That's the ad. The ad is over. Okay. I'm selecting this one as sort of a middle ground between the fatter ones and the skinnier ones. Cut on this side. It's a little bit soft on the sides, and that has me wondering if I took them out early. Still crusty on the other side. Little struggle with the seam there again. My light just... Did you see that? The light flicked for just a split second? Huh. It's definitely cooked. It's still warm in the middle, but it's definitely not doughy. It's cooked through. So I guess we start our Schermblern. Maybe it was my eye that flicked for a second. So we are starting with our liver mousse. The little streaks of color, if you'll remember, are from the attempt at making an exterior color for the little peeps. And they just got mushed in here. There's also a couple of whole peppercorns that I wasn't able to retrieve in here because those were the eyes and the peeps. So those will be surprises when I bite into those. The warmth of the bread is causing this pate to melt a bit because it's a mousse, not a full-on pate. And that was always going to be a danger with doing this with warm bread. Okay. The bottom. Next step. I don't know what order you're supposed to put these things on. Upon me. meat. Well, if you didn't see the flick, then I guess it's no problem. I saw just an instantaneous flicker from something. Okay, you're not supposed to load a banh mi up with tons and tons of meat. The meat is important, but it's not there to be the main everything. It's not there to overwhelm the dish. Let's get some of our mixed pickle peppers on there, and I'm actually going to dump the rest of that into our mix of other vegetables. Speaking of the mix of other vegetables, they are going to be the biggest bulk, or they should be the biggest bulk on our sandwich. We're going to use all of that I pulled out. Yes. Yes. Messy sandwiches. I love a messy sandwich. Then you eat it outside so that the mess doesn't matter. Okay. Mayonnaise on the top bun. Mayonnaise serves a second purpose. I'm going to use this knife. I'm just going to lick it off. Mayonnaise serves a double purpose. It gives you a rich, savory creaminess, and also helps protect the bread from becoming completely soaked in the juiciness of the sandwich, because the mayonnaise is oil, and oil repels water, and the juiciness comes from the water. Our crispy chicken skin bits, I'm going to put on the top here as well. Finally, the sauce, which needs a re-whisking real quick, because it finally did actually separate. I need to run experiments with it, because the way it thickened up initially was very intriguing, but now it has in fact separated and stopped being so thick. But we're gonna juice it up, and we're gonna use all of the juice. And then you put the top on the sandwich, squish it together, move everything out of the way. Grab another fresh knife. Cut right down the middle. And that is our banh mi. And I didn't select a plate. this one. Ugh. It is everything I want it to be in terms of sloppiness. Mm. Okay, I need to take pictures. As always, I need to quickly take pictures, but we're going to show it off to you real quick here on the main cam. It looks good to me. It looks good to me. Let's grab some pictures, come back, and give it the old taste. Oh. I need to get angles on it. It's hard to photograph a sandwich like this. That's why they always do them as a little angled. That's why they always do the top bread as a little angled thing. I get it now. We're learning. Okay, that should be plenty of photos. And we're back, and we're back. And we're back, and here they are. And let's do the taste test before everyone leaves. Of our smoked chicken liver mousse banh mi. On freshly baked baguette. Mmm. 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 That's a big mouthful. The baguette is very crusty, which causes the filling to sort of goosh out when you bite into it. It's also spicier than I was planning for. I think I went overboard on the peppers. I'm going to take one of those, this one off. Put it in there. Oh, it's too spicy. Okay. It's too spicy. Okay, hold on. I gotta. Cool the flames a little bit. Ooh, okay. It's a little too spicy for me. So I took that half a red jalapeno off there. The red jalapenos are more spicy than the green ones. Don't pick off all the peppers. That's excessive. That's extreme. Come on. Pick off some of the peppers. Take another bite. Okay, yeah. All right, they're big mouthfuls. Okay, so a little more sparing on the peppers. Probably should have sliced the peppers up in little strips and put a little sprinkle of them on there instead of the big full slices. But they're very easy to see because they're bright red, so it's not that hard to mitigate. With only a little bit of spice, this is very good. It's a large amount of this crunchy, tangy vegetable. I'll show you the cross section with this wonderful, rich, savory meatiness to it. I thought these little chicken skin strips would jump out a little bit more, but they're kind of lost. There's a lot of other textures going on here between the crunchy vegetables and the crunchy bread, and they're not quite assertive enough to jump out amidst all the rest of this. So they're nice on their own. They'd be really good in a different application, I think. Overall, this is a really well-balanced sandwich. The pickled vegetables with the meat, that's a winning combination. Oh, shoot! You know what I forgot? You know what I forgot? Oh, how could I have forgot the cilantro? What a fool. What a fool I were. That one, get rid of this yellow one. What a fool. What a fool. This is, of course, parsley because I don't eat cilantro, but it looks like cilantro. I don't know what else I can say about this. It tastes like all the things that are in it. The flavors don't merge together into some fantabulous new thing. You can taste the pickled vegetable. They taste like pickled vegetables. You can taste the savory meat. You can taste the smokiness of the chicken and the rich savoriness of the pate. Um, so it's not like it comes together into some crazy new thing. Um, no, what a banh mi is you can taste all those things and they just complement each other. These creamy flavors and these fresh flavors and these sharp flavors um, and these savory flavors. They all balance each other out and they complement each other without really overriding each other. Let's have a bite with the actual herbs on there. Mmm. I'm sure for cilantro lovers, having cilantro there would be a big difference because I know it's a much more flavorful herb than parsley. But even for me, the poor parsley eater, having that fresh raw herb on there does help. It makes it it elevates the sandwich with a bit of a fresh finish. So, for those of you following along at home, I hope you've enjoyed a banh mi as much as I am.